It's your boy Dr. Kaiju Quay, episode 36, Coding While Black. I believe today is March 5th, 2020. I'm down here in Tampa Bay, Florida. We just finished delivering a training class and a couple of exam sessions for Azure certification for fundamentals. Finished early, so I decided to take a 20-minute drive and come down to the beach and take all the sights and sounds. And I love the ocean, love the water, love my job, love having these kinds of opportunities to record these videos from different parts of the planet. You can see as I pan around behind me here, nothing but ocean and beauty. It's fantastic. So a couple things came to mind while I was on this particular journey this week. One was the concept of a coding interview, and another one was, people always ask me, is it too late to learn how to program? And I don't think it's ever too late to learn how to program, but what comes into play is this idea of programming versus understanding how to program, right? Learning a language versus understanding how to put together the pieces of your idea for your algorithm, make it work in a way that produces the results you're looking for. And that's the part that takes a while to come up to, right? To come up to speed on. Of course, I went the traditional route, so I went to college. So I had 4 years of that, 4 years of training doing that, 4 years of taking math classes where you're repeatedly practicing and learning how to solve equations and solve problems. And then you just learn how to take the programming language and use this syntax to apply that technique or to apply those problem-solving techniques. If you're not used to that, then it can be a challenge, right? It can be difficult. And when you pick up a programming book, you might not necessarily get that type of information. You may simply get, here is Python, and here is the syntax, and here are the features available to the Python language. No one teaches you how to think logically, how to think computationally, how to use different data structures, how to understand data types. All this stuff comes into play. And I can recall being on the job many years ago. I worked at a company in Dallas, and I was at my desk working. I could hear all this consternation and frustration coming from one of my co-workers. And she was behind me a few cubes, worked in cubes back then, and she was frustrated with some programming that she was working on. And I kept hearing all this commotion, and people back there trying to help. I finally got to the point where I couldn't actually work, so I went back to, hey, what's going on? And she shows me her code, and she shows me a loop that her code is running through, or a loop that her code is executing. And she would show me how the code worked properly many, many times through the iterations of the loop. And then it got to a certain number of counts through the loop, and it failed. And she's looking at the code saying, hey, I don't understand why this isn't working. Something's wrong here. The computer's broken. How can this change? How can this work sometimes and not work? And the code hasn't changed. And her problem was she had chosen incorrect data type. I saw that immediately because I understood data types. Now, it just so happens in data type meaning you can only have a value so big in that variable. And once you reach that limit, the number changes or becomes negative or what have you. That broke her code. She had no idea what I was talking about. Now, trained software developers, trained programmers, people who take courses, got degrees, understand that. Some books may have it, some books may not. My point is, there's a foundational aspect to this. There's a base you need to have before you take off and just pick up a programming book or a programming language. And so, one of the books that I recommend, I purchased it recently. I recommend it to one of my mentees. I made a video a couple of months ago about it would be part of my mentor program. Let me know. One person took me up on it, and he and I are working together right now. And he was having some of those challenges. And so the book that I recommended for him is called Computer Science Distilled. I can't remember the author, but when I get back to my hotel room tonight, I'll post the link to it in Amazon with this post. It's a great book, covers some of the basics. It's a great foundation that you might not get when you're just taking a class on a programming language or maybe a boot camp or something like that. So you got to have that foundation. It's key. It makes the journey a little more difficult, a little more longer, but I still don't think it's ever too late to learn. You can learn whenever you want, at whatever age. You got to be dedicated and devoted to learning the proper practices and getting the right foundation. All right. So once again, this is your boy Dr. Kaiju Quay, Coding While Black, coming to you live from, I think it's Pellegrill Beach, a little bit outside of Tampa, down here on the water. It's fantastic. Peace.